Hello, I'm OVERPRICED, and today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 most overpriced LEGO Technic sets of all time. As Technic sets, I will not be using just the 10 cent per piece criteria to determine whether or not a set is overpriced. Rather, I'll be using a combination of factors like authenticity, functionality, challenging building, and the 10 cent per piece price mark to determine if it's overpriced. Let's begin! The LEGO Technic 6x6 all-terrain tow truck 42070 is a classic example of an infamous set. Sure, it had remote-controlled capabilities, but the way all of its functions were executed left many fans hating on this set. It sold for $290 despite it only having 1,862 pieces. Even after taking away the cost of the electronic components from the total cost, you'd still be left with about $241, which is seriously overpriced for the amount of pieces that you do get. Moreover, the truck was really unfinished, and especially if you look at the trunk storage area. I mean, this is supposed to hold items. This is supposed to be useful. Instead, there is nothing here but the exposed moving axles, gears, and basically the entire chassis. The truck also had just two power functions motor, a medium and an XL one, and no servo motor. So, the truck wouldn't have return to center steering of any kind. The only advantage of the set is that it does actually have a gearbox integrated with RC capabilities, something that, at the time, we haven't seen since the release of the 8043 motorized excavator, and it's actually the reason I was one of the few people that actually liked this set. But, looking back, it definitely had its flaws. Now let's move on to number 9. But first, if you want to learn all about LEGO Technic in the format of top 5 or top 10 videos, then please subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss out on the content. The LEGO Technic telehandler 42061 is another really overpriced set. You paid $40 just for this small thing. You only got 260 pieces, and if you just paid $10 more, you could get the Technic Fireplane 42040, which is a much better set. The telehandler just wasn't a good bang for your buck. Now let's take a look at number 8. Don't get me wrong, the LEGO Technic Silver Champion is a beautiful looking car. It even has a very nice 10-piston engine. However, it came with only 1,431 pieces, and it retailed for $170 in the year 2000. Adjusted for inflation, that is $254.50. Yikes, that's a lot of money for such a small car. But did this car have anything to justify its price? Well, besides the engine and the suspension, it really didn't have any functionality. So I don't see how anyone would pay $250 for this set if it came out in 2020. Think about it. The Technic 6x6 Volvo articulated hauler is about the same price, and yet it's fully remote controlled with a fully motorized speed transmission gearbox. The LEGO Technic Mine Loader 42049 is one set I'm not a big fan of. It sold for $50 and it came with 746 pieces. That's not a bad price to parts ratio, but the aesthetics and the functionality of this model are really what makes this such an overpriced set. For any Technic model priced at around $50, people should expect differentials, right? Well, in this set, the piston engine is connected to just one wheel without any differentials. On top of that, there is no gearbox inside this set, and the manual functions are operated pretty slowly. Plus, this model does look kind of unfinished. The Pneumatic front-end loader 8464 is another set I think could have been priced less. At first, it seems like this set is priced okay, at $70, but when you adjust this for inflation, it would be worth a little over $100 in 2020. In my opinion, that's a little steep, even though it does have pneumatics. The thing is, it only has 591 pieces, so this set is a little small for that $100 price tag. For example, the main pneumatic set we got in 2016 has well over 1,000 pieces, but you could buy it for a similar price tag. The next Technic set is the 8008 Stormtrooper released in 2001, and adjusted for inflation, it would cost about $50. In my opinion, I think that the price to parts ratio is alright here, especially since the pieces are pretty big. However, it just does not look very accurate or appealing. It looks like the white protocol droid from Star Wars instead of looking like an actual Stormtrooper. There are far better Technic adaptations of Star Wars characters like the B-1 battle droid or the destroyer droid set. Next up, we have the LEGO Technic app-controlled Top Gear Rally Car 42109. This set costs $130, and yet it is about the same size as the Chevrolet Corvette. This set does have remote-controlled functionality, but it's just so small for that big price tag. In my opinion, something like the remote-controlled stunt car offers much better value, since it is $30 cheaper, and yet I'd argue that it offers more playability since instead of just racing, you could take it off-roading a little bit. To get an entire set with tracks and motors that easily at just $100 and even cheaper potentially using online sales and promotions is just amazing in my opinion. The LEGO Technic 42108 mobile crane is an example of how not to make a LEGO Technic set. Even though it nearly contains 1300 pieces and is priced at about $100, the functionality of this set is just lacking. This set contains no gearboxes, no easy motor upgradability, or really anything that could make it stand out. And if you think that I shouldn't be too harsh on a budget set, just keep one thing in mind. For the exact same price, in 2010, we got the 8053 mobile crane, which had far more functionality. This set contained an actual gearbox, as well as easy power functions upgradability with the $30 accessory box. To me, the 2020 mobile crane just seems like a far worse and inferior version of the 8053 set. I believe that any LEGO Technic set that is priced at $100 or more should contain at least some sort of gearbox. The Technic 4x4 Extreme Off-Roader is simply too expensive for what you get. It costs $250 and yet it has only 958 pieces. Let's compare this to the 9398 4x4 Crawler from 2012. That set contained 1,327 pieces, and yet it retailed for just $200. And that's not all. The two sets have pretty much exactly the same functionality, except that the newer one might be a tad worse. It has lower ground clearance than the 2012 one, meaning that this crawler is not only overpriced, but is actually worse for off-roading. The final most overpriced set is the Technic bell-boeing V-22 Osprey vertical takeoff and landing airplane. I want to stress that, had it not been cancelled and if it was actually going to be widely released, it would have been a fairly cheap deal for the functionality and the pieces that you got. However, the reason I put this at number 1 is because on eBay, it goes for well over $1,000 on auctions. That is insane. I mean, who in the right mind would purchase a LEGO set for over $1,000? Hello, Unbrick Me here with a look at this amazing new airplane. Please subscribe to see more LEGO Technic lists. Check out my top 10 most revolutionary LEGO Technic functions. This is your Unbrick Me here, and I'll see you in the next one.